Yo, it's your boy Logos. And when I first conceived of the idea of this channel, it was for stories like this, where I feel like the black community will be a lot better off if we just focus on accountability and fix our own problems instead of going to the government or blaming somebody else for them. I don't understand why gang culture, gangster rap, or the idolization of it still exists. When I was 8 years old in elementary school, we had this whole gang culture, gang initiation program they had to talk about gang violence and how ridiculous it is to get in that life and what the stuff you have to do to get in and how you can never get out. And even at that time, just 9 years old, maybe 8 years old, I could never understand why somebody would sign up to do this stuff. Throwing away your freedom, throwing away your livelihood, throwing away your life just for some temporary money with long-term consequences. Losing your friends, losing people that you're growing up with and you grow close to. How many people are you having to bury, and how many times you have to get a shirt, put their face on it to, I don't know, remember them? I don't understand it. The friends that I had a lot of them for like 10 plus years, 20 plus years, and I would be devastated if something would happen to them. So why would I choose a lifestyle that constantly puts myself in danger and them in danger? I know if something happens to my friends who I consider brothers, I probably would jump in front of a bullet for them. So why would I put myself in a lifestyle or occupation where I constantly have to worry about that stuff happening? Where I'm constantly in a position of looking over my shoulder. I can't go over to a girl's house because she's across the city and that's where the ops are, or that's where the rival gang is. I'm worried about getting spun on, or she's a setup. Like, I'm telling you, all this stuff that these guys have to think about, normal people don't have to think about because you really have no reason for people to try to attack you. Of course, you have other criminals that want to rob you, do this other stuff to you, but that's lower compared to, being part of a gang, signing up to rep a gang, and then doing all this criminal stuff that makes you a target for other gangs or the police. I think a big part of it is accountability. No fathers in the home, and then you have single mothers. Some of them got their child the right way, some don't. Some are so busy trying to support everybody that they can't even parent. And I'm not saying it's always their fault, but oftentimes it is their fault. And let's not just act like if they didn't have these kids when they wasn't ready, they wouldn't be in this position. We need to stop making excuses for people bad decision making all the time, especially when it impacts other people's lives like their children or us who didn't even know they existed until their child robs us, kills somebody we know, or kills us. I just don't get it. But this video that I saw this morning from Baltimore about a mother defending her son after he shot at a cop or got shot by a cop, it's just ignorant. I didn't go through the whole video because I know this was just perfect for the channel. It just encapsulates all the stuff I've been saying for years. And even when I did the whole gang culture is pro-black, or how could you be pro-black but support gangster rap? It goes into the same type of thing. We love to say we want certain things like black excellence or black magic or BLM, Black Lives Matter, but when it's a young kid dying because of gang violence, killed by another black person, nobody cares. Nobody marches, nobody burns shit down. They just don't care because they say niggas die every day. It's just so callous to me. As much as we talk about the KKK and slavery and our freedom and civil rights, how are you not throwing all that stuff away by just throwing your life away behind nonsense? They don't even own the property they fight over. They're just making sure somebody else will come and kill them and take it over. It's just a sad, short life, and I don't get it. But let's just watch this video.
The second weekend of a youth curfew is underway right now in Baltimore as juvenile crime concerns continue to circulate across the city. Fox 45's Keith Daniels looks into a mother's concerns after her son was shot by police. But we begin with Jeff Abel and the efforts to staff connection centers designed to keep Baltimore's children away from trouble. Jeff, what can you tell us?
Well, curfew enforcement efforts are back on here in Fells Point tonight and in other areas of downtown here. And while police have long maintained it will be relieving the burden on city police tell us tonight a whole different story.
This is not anything new. We're evolving the way that we enforce youth curfew.
It was last Friday, the first day of the city's new curfew enforcement effort. when the mayor vowed to put concerns to rest over the toll curfew enforcement will have on police.
I will be reaching out directly to the union and explaining and talking to them how about this is not the case. Again, we want to relieve them of something that has been their sole duty.
But the very next day, the president of the police union says the city canceled off days for 20 to 30 members of the police force, posting them downtown as backup for the curfew enforcement effort. In a statement, the president of the union writes, "The depleted ranks of the BPD are already stretched to a breaking point. I guess the mayor and police commissioner want to test when the house of cards will collapse."
I'm curious to see if there's any people that live in Baltimore that just happen to come across this video. Why do you think the police force is so stretched out? Do you think it's because of the pandemic? Maybe laws regarding about police and what they're allowed and not allowed to do? Maybe police are seeing that the whole atmosphere with cancel culture and stuff doesn't make it safe to be a police officer. You can't fully do the stuff that you want to do as a police officer. And that doesn't mean corruption or abuse of power. That just means people taking stuff out of context and trying to, I don't know, harm you, harm your family, or try to get you fired because you try to arrest somebody that did a crime. I don't know. I'm not from Baltimore, but I could imagine it could be all three things at once.
And this, unfortunately, is just another example of poor planning.
Attempts to find civilians willing to interact with curfew violators appears to be a tall task, too. In a high-importance alert email issued to city employees on Thursday, City Hall called it a challenge and asked for volunteers to work as late as 2 in the morning, monitoring children who break curfew.
This is insane. We didn't even get to the part I wanted to talk about. This is crazy. I am just a citizen of Baltimore. Why? And my job is to work my designated hours. Unless you pay me heavy overtime. Why would I volunteer to stay over at 2 a.m. to monitor some kids that, one, don't know me, and two, probably don't give a shit what I'm gonna tell them in the first place? Why would I do that? Why are we at this point where that should be happening? Honestly, if they don't care enough about their parents and the police, why would they care about some random civilian that was just designated to watch them? This is illogical. This is ridiculous. How about we get in the community and tell these parents, one, don't make a child if you ain't gonna stick around, or you can't support it, or you're not married. Two, discipline your children. Three, stop letting these people or these kids listen to this rap or all this other stuff that talk about killing each other, dealing drugs, and that makes you a real nigga or a real man or all this other nonsense. Come on, man. This is stupid. And you're gonna have your whole city fall apart because of this? When I grew up, we didn't even have curfew. Like, I can't even conceive of having my whole summer with a curfew involved. And I didn't even stay out late. I was more of a stay indoors, chill, hop on my game or whatever. And if I did go somewhere, it was with my friends and we knew what we were doing. There's gonna be no nonsense or BS. Because I knew if I did anything crazy, I was gonna be on death's door when I got home, either for my father or my mother. Either way, it's gonna be hell to pay. And I don't think these kids in Baltimore, Chicago, Detroit, all these other places that have this crime and poverty and robbings, I don't think they have that type of stuff. But really, you think I'm going to be a case manager for some random kids so they can go to curfew, or what? Stick by the curfew? Come on.
In an email to the mayor's office today, we asked if the city was able to locate enough volunteers. If not, how will the city staff those positions? And will there be hands-on training and background checks for those who volunteer to monitor children?
No.
So far, no reply. But remember this
There
promise.
goes your answer.
I will be reaching out directly to the union.
That was 1 week ago.
I will be reaching out directly to the union and explaining and talking to them how about this is not the case.
Tonight, the union says it's still waiting on the call. We also did ask the City Hall today about the impact this is having on police. So far yet, no reply. We're live in Fells Point tonight. Jeff Abel, Fox 45 News.
Jeff, thank you. The mayor's office says the summer youth engagement strategy as a whole has a budgeted price tag of more than $1 million. Overtime for city employees could add to that price tag. Critics say the city is taking a big chance with taxpayer dollars since there's no guarantee that Baltimore's children will spend time at these connection centers. So that brings us to our question of the day. Do you believe the city is prepared to enforce the youth curfew all summer long? So far, 93% of people who voted.
They can't even enforce these same type of people getting in crime out like without the school year. It's only going to go up. It's not like Baltimore has like a clean slate or they just perfectly have no crime throughout the year. There's always crime. So you have more people with more free time. It's only going to get worse. And it's sad too because there's probably a lot of kids that do nothing at all. They just want to enjoy their summer and just have some more hours of free time compared to having to go to bed at what, 10 or whatever. They can stay out till like midnight or something because they're like 17, 16 years old and they're not going to do anything wrong. They could probably just want to play basketball, hang out with their friends, go to the movies late, just enjoy the nighttime and enjoy the fact they don't have to get up at 6 a.m., 4 a.m. to ride the bus. And why can't they? Because of this small percentage that think destroying shit and getting involved in crime is the way to go. It's selfish and it is stupid.
Say no. Go to foxbaltimore.com/vote to weigh in.
Hell no. Put that there. Hell no.
He had a gun because he was scared for his life. We live in Baltimore City.
Well, a stunning admission from a Baltimore mother whose 17-year-old son was shot by police, saying he needs to have a gun to protect himself.
From who?
45's Keith Daniels joins us live with her concerns and why some argue she shouldn't have let her son put himself in danger. Keith?
Well, Maxine, as you can imagine, whenever a juvenile is involved in a crime, oftentimes a concerned mother is also involved. And tonight, a closer look at that parental involvement. Kiara Franklin is a Baltimore City mother, reigniting the debate this week over parent accountability when a child is accused of a crime.
Stop! Put the gun down! Put the gun down!
Franklin's son, 17-year-old Mekhi Franklin, shot by a Baltimore police officer 3 weeks ago, now facing charges including first-degree assault, shot during a foot chase, police say, while he was holding a stolen 9mm handgun. His mother speaking out this week about the shooting, but also confronted with questions about her responsibility, her accountability.
Yeah, how am I accountable for what he has on him? That's not bad parenting. That's not the parent's fault. You know, how can you blame that on the parent?
But Reverend P.M. Smith, longtime pastor.
Okay, so if we can't blame it on the person that literally gave birth to him, the person whose house he stays at, the person that knows him more than anybody else, who else can we blame? Come on. Like, it's ridiculous too, because if it was another situation, she'll probably say, well, he's only like a 16, 17-year-old boy. He isn't developed yet. He isn't mature yet. Like, if it was like a non-violent crime or something that wasn't as serious as this, she'll probably pull that excuse. Like he, I don't know, skipped class or something the very first time. And like this is just a new behavior that came out of nowhere. She could maybe use that excuse that his age is the reason why, but at the same time, you can't just say later on down the line when he says something or does something more serious that is not your fault. Because at that point, then it's his fault, but then he's only 16, 17 years old. Either way, it's in both people's fault. He shouldn't be doing this stuff, and she should be raising him better and at least holding him accountable for the stuff that he does. It's both people's fault in this situation.
At Huber Memorial Church in Loch Raven and a former defense attorney believes there is a level of accountability for parents when children do wrong.
You feel you're clothing them and you don't know where they are. You don't know what they're bringing in the house. You don't know what they're carrying out of the house. That is a situation where parents lack accountability because they're not handling their responsibility.
Thank you.
As the juvenile crime rate continues to climb in Baltimore, many parents are desperately searching for a cure. Smith blames broken homes for much of the growing crime problem.
Thank you.
They say everything starts in the home, which it does, but what does a home look like? You know, you never know what's going on in their home.
My son's 17 years old. You know, he's not a 5-year-old little kid, you feel me? So at the end of the day,
I
there's only
don't.
but so much I can do.
That may be true.
Oh God. Look, no attitude too. Well, who nutted in this woman? Who nutted in this woman and decided to just leave and disappear? First of all, why did you nut in her? But two, her whole attitude, demeanor, it just so this ain't my fault. I don't know why you coming at me. Shoot, y'all harassing me like as if she's somehow the victim in this could because she has to ask questions about her dangerous son. Come on, this is. And then look, if something happens to this 17-year-old boy and he gets shot, not even by the police, we already know what she's gonna do. She's gonna be crying as expected. And then she's gonna be demanding justice as expected. And then she want everybody to send their thoughts and prayers as expected. You could just stop that stuff from happening instead of making excuses. How many times do I have to see the same damn cycle over and over and over again? Like, come on. Give me a break.
True. But when you have a young person who you know is headed in the wrong direction, you ask, you seek, you demand, you get all the help you can. Whether it's an uncle, whether it's a stepfather, whether it's a grandfather, whether it's juvenile services, you get all the help you can.
Well, regarding Mekhi Franklin, he's out of the hospital. He's out of the hospital, rather, and he's been moved to central booking. He's waiting there for a hearing that could decide whether or not his case is moved to juvenile court. We're live tonight. Keith Daniels, Fox 45 News.
17 years old, you're already getting booked, and you already got shot. Is this the real nigga lifestyle that I keep having to hear about in music and online? Is that what it is? Throwing away your future, throwing away your freedom that young over nothing? Is this what I'm supposed to be emulating? Is this what I'm supposed to be looking up to? This is bullshit. This is stupid. Like 17 years old, carrying around a gun, and your mother can't even say he shouldn't be carrying around a gun. Like at what point, how low does a bar have to get for us to actually say, okay, now this is enough? It's a joke. I wonder how old she is. Because she doesn't even look at least 40. So who knows how old she was when she had him? She looks about 35, 37, 38 max. So she had him when she was a kid and probably immature, making stupid decisions with a stupid mindset. And evidently, it doesn't look like much, I don't know, maturation or, I don't know, maturity has developed. It's just sad. But I think that pastor is right. It all goes back to the home and having the father around and people that actually want to discipline their children and not just make excuses for their behavior. It's cool if she can make excuses because it's not happening to her. But when somebody else's son break into her house and robs her, then it's like, where's the police? We need to stop this. I can't believe you did this to my son. He would never hurt nobody. Stop. Shut up. Because we already know what you are, and you're not somebody that's going to hold your son accountable. But when your son mess up, you're going to hold everybody else accountable. But you're damn sure not going to hold him or yourself. It's just ridiculous. This same lifestyle. And I would bet money that she probably listens to music, blast music, love rappers, or female rappers that talk about this BS that her son did. Spinning the block, moving on the ops. I'll kill you. Same shit. Different day, different week, different year, different decade. I don't know how long I'm gonna have to listen to this, but I've been hearing this nonsense the majority of my life, and I am young as hell. So I can only imagine what older people like that pastor think about it. He probably grew up with it when this first started popping off in the 80s, 90s, or whatever. It's just ridiculous. It's a waste of life. I'm glad at least he can acknowledge the real root of the problem and hold these people accountable, because they're clearly not going to hold themselves accountable. And at the end of the day, that boy could be something great, special, with potential if he put his time and energy into that stuff and his passions, and not ignorant behavior, ignorant music, and the ignorant culture that somehow some way tells you that the best way to live your life is to throw it away before you even can understand what you're doing. They're pro-black, but somehow people like me is a coon. we live in the Twilight Zone, but it's all good. That gives me more content to talk about. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. It's your boy Logos, and I'll see you next time. Peace.